receiving my content. Pop out chat. Well, hello guys. If anyone happens to magically be here right now, then congratulations. Otherwise, I'm going to put a little post out into the interwebs. And if I can remember how to do it. Where are you? I've totally forgotten how to stream.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Are you on?
Yeah, it's live.
I don't see you.
Share. Share. Refresh the page.
Okay.
Totally should be live. Maybe it's not public.
Might be still private.
Okay, can it and start again. Well, it says stream resumed, so maybe it's live.
Oh, you're right.
Yay! It seems to be excellent. Well, hello everyone. How's it going? If anyone's actually in here yet. This is a completely unannounced stream because we've been so crazy busy, but I've been wanting to do one for ages and I had some spare time this morning, so here it is. We've got Lady Muse in the chat, printing off things, and just want to hang out with you guys, and if you have any questions, shoot them through, and see how we go. Oh, what happened?
Oh,
You right?
no, nothing. Just tired.
Yeah, we're both extremely tired. So, a couple of updates for you guys. You wouldn't have seen me on stream for a while because we've been studio shopping. So, some of you guys who are on Patreon would know we've been looking for a new studio down the coast because as lovely as it has been here at the Michael Crouch Innovation Centre, as you can see outside, it's not, the construction's not going away anytime soon. So we've been looking for a new studio. And, well, we've pretty much found one. We're just looking for, hopefully we're going to get the approval for it, put the deposit down, and then towards the end of November we're going to move, which is going to be awesome. We've been doing that as well as paid work, as well as all sorts of stuff. And yeah, it's a Sunday, so all the builders are at home, so it's nice and quiet, except for the printer that's doing things. So I'm going to just tell you guys about some stuff that we've been doing, but also shoot through some questions. I've got Lady Muse in the chat. It should be fun. I missed Joel's quick 20-minute stream last night, which makes me disappointed, but I know I've told him he's welcome to come into this one if he likes. So, just jumping into the chat. So, Captical. Yeah, I'll answer questions. That's why I'm here. I'll answer you guys' questions. Yeah, had a Wanhao Jupe i3 from Aldi. Wouldn't mind an upgrade. What's to recommend as a step up? Well, I mean, the Aldi Duplicator i3 was actually a really good bang for the buck machine. Like, it occupied a price point that made a lot of sense. To get something a bit better, you spend a lot more money. Like, the Duplicator i3 from Aldi was $500. I mean, anything better, like maybe the i3 Mark II that you're looking at here, printing right now, that's going to cost you about $1,000 in Australian monopoly money. It's pretty much the same thing, maybe a little bit improved, a few better features. But yeah, I mean, a step up, you're going to be having to spend a fair amount of more money. It jumps up in categories. So like the Upbox will do ABS well, but that's going to cost you $3,000. Stuff like that. So honestly, I wouldn't have sold the i3, to be honest. You can upgrade them pretty well. It is currently 10 a.m. in Australia, so I just got out of bed a little while ago, as you can see.
Yeah, as you can see. Fabulous hairdo.
My gorgeous, I'm rivaling Joel's hair right now. I'm channeling Joel. 10 a.m. exactly. Well, 10:08. So Lucas is saying his printer works better with ABS than PLA. That's not too unusual. I'm going to assume your printer's an enclosed machine like an Up Mini. And that means that the temperature inside is quite warm. And yeah, ABS likes heat. So if you have a warm enclosure, ABS prints really well. But if you have a warm enclosure for PLA, you're going to get jams and drooping and stringing because the PLA needs to cool quickly. So I'm going to assume that's why you print better in PLA. We've got Dion, 3D printer. Welcome, welcome. My hair always looks like this. Well, yeah, okay, it does. I used to be known in high school, basically, all my friends would be like, oh, Angus is having a good day when his hair's all up and crazy, and then Angus is having a bad day when it's all flat. That's how they used to identify my mood. What would you recommend as the highest quality filament available in Australia? Again, I mean, Rachel, I know you have the Wanhao, so honestly, getting a good PLA, Dion at the 3D printer sells a really nice green, which I've used a few times. But also, Hobby King, their stuff works good as well. It's not too strong, but it's pretty decent. So yeah, I'd say, although Hobby King's website sucks at the moment. You can't order anything, it's completely broken. So maybe go with Dion for that, for now, till they fix their website, which is the 3D printer. Oh, also an Up Plus 2, right. Well, if you have an Up Plus 2, then the temperature differences will be an issue because the Up Plus 2 prints at ABS at a higher temperature than regular ABS. So, I mean, you can hack them to run eSun or use the latest version of Up Studio, which is not very good. Yeah, I used to run eSun ABS on my Up. Used to work pretty well. I used to run it at 220 to 230 or sometimes 240 degrees. That worked well. I have indeed become addicted to green. Green is one of my favorite colors to print with at the moment. Green and the translucent blue. Yeah?
Okay, so I've got two questions here. They seem to roll into one. So first, Connor asks, hey, I'm building a repeal 3D printer for a science fair. Any tips? And Rollsboy asks also, any tips on building a 3D printer from scratch? So any thoughts on that?
Okay, I'll answer those questions. If you want to build a printer from scratch, be prepared for an extremely long and arduous journey where at the end you'll probably spend more money than if you bought a printer to start with. That's because you're going to have to learn through trial and error. Things are not going to work. You might blow up controller boards. It's a lot of experience. It's awesome. You're going to learn a lot of things, but don't do it if you're trying to save money because you won't. Buy a kit. And even then, most kits, if they're cheap, aren't that great. But yeah, in terms of actually putting a machine together, you can do it with stuff off eBay. You get ramps, boards, they're cheap, they're not very good, but they'll get you going. You can pull motors, like stepper motors, out of old equipment. If you can find an old photocopying machine, you can get those. You can do it. I've seen a lot of people, they're called rep scraps. So they're like the rep prep, but built from rubbish. Rollsboy's asking what would be the best material to print for strong parts. That's actually a very good question. So what I have here is an ankle-foot orthotic, which I'm printing as part of Ability Mate. I've been doing a lot of these. So this was scanned off I think she's now a bit older than 2, girl with cerebral palsy. This is printed in nylon polyamide, so it's very stringy. Polyamide is awful for the finish, but the strength, yeah. You want nylon, basically. If you can get a nylon, then and you can print with it because it shrinks. It's horrible to stick down. The finish is bad. But if you can get it to work, it's going to be one of the strongest parts you can print, strongest materials you can print. But as I said, extremely difficult to print with. Oh, we've got Sparky. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Okay, one question. Tesla asks, Angus, can one make a printer out of PVC pipes?
I said, yeah. So I often go to Bunnings and see what I could use that they sell to make mechanical things. You definitely could maybe make a machine out of PVC pipes, but it would be like the frame, the chassis. It wouldn't be any of the movement parts because the accuracy would be too poor. PVC pipes, as far as I understand, are extruded and then straightened out, and you're not going to get the best accuracy out of them because they don't need them in their usual application. But what I would probably recommend instead is you can buy aluminium square extrusions and little connecting things, like little plastic injection molded connectors at right angles and for corners. So if you bought aluminium square section like that long and got enough of them for a cube, that's a really rigid frame which you can make a machine out of. I'm planning to do that at some point. Again, not sure when, but I think that would be a better solution and not too much more expensive than PVC. I think PVC is just a little bit too flimsy for a 3D printer. Like, you're going to be doing too much effort to make it stable. Yeah, and a lot of people are asking about the robot arm. So, for those who don't know, this is not my space. I do not own this space. This is part of the University of New South Wales. And I'm in here as part of the Michael Crouch Innovation Centre, which is funded by Michael Crouch, who's a philanthropist. And the arm is owned by the university. So this is a KUKA arm lent by KUKA to the uni to play with, and hopefully the uni would buy one. But basically KUKA lent the arm to them with no training manuals. No instructions. And we've had all sorts of mechatronics people come in, myself included, trying to figure out how to run it. We've got it moving in what's called technician mode, where you can control it using the touch pendant, but we haven't got it doing pre-programmed moves yet. And unfortunately, at the rate it's happening, I might not be in this space by the time they do, but I will be visiting again if they get it to do something cool. Yeah, it's one of those arms where you can't just play with it because it's extremely dangerous. It can kill people. It's got enough torque. It can carry a payload of 3.5 kilos, and it can move at ridiculous pace. So, yeah, I can't just flick it on and joke around with it, because if I break it, that's $60,000 I don't have. Yeah, let me have a look.
Well, I've noted there.
Okay. Come a bit closer.
Okay. Spencer Riddleman asked 2 questions. First one, the new Ultimaker 3 has just been revealed with dual extrusion. Do you plan on reviewing it? And then he also asked later, what machine are you currently printing with?
Okay. A few things. Ultimaker 3. Being in Australia, extremely unlikely I'm ever going to see one anytime soon, and also even more unlikely I'm ever going to review one, just because they don't seem to exist much here. They're very expensive to get into Australia. It looks cool. I will say that the Ultimaker 3 does look slick, and the dual extrusion with soluble support is cool, but it's so expensive. It's almost like the Apple, like the MacBook of the 3D printer ecosystem, I guess. It's, in my opinion, it's not justified. You can get dual extrusion machines like the BCN Sigma, other ones like that are cheaper and arguably just as good. So yeah, it looks interesting, but I'm unlikely to ever see one. But people like Joel might get one, and also I think Preston has some time with one as well, other 3D printing channels. But yeah, and also it runs 3 mil. I exclusively run 1.75 filament. I don't want to mix up my types. What was the other question?
Well, I've got another 2.
Oh, about what am I printing right now? I'm printing with the Prusa i3 Mark II right now. So this is sent to me by Joseph Prussia, and this is the assembled one. He sent a kit as well. It's an open source, built on open source 3D printer with mesh bed leveling. It's extremely popular at the moment. I'd say extremely hyped at the moment. There's so much talk about this machine, and I've been testing it heavily, and I will be reviewing it, but I have been coming into some issues that other reviewers didn't come into, so my review may be a little bit different to theirs. Keydi printer review. Yes, the Keydi Tech X1 will be reviewed as well at some point. It's in the queue, and I've been testing it heavily, and yeah.
I'll definitely be expecting that one to come along soon.
I need to finish these reviews by the end of the month, so you'll be seeing a ZMorph Mark II and Keydi Tech soon, and maybe a follow-up on the Tarantula. I know a lot of you have been asking about the part 2 for the Tarantula. There's been a lot of things going on with that kit, and a lot of things going on in the community around that kit. It might not be a very happy review for the Tarantula.
Okay, so another question is from Connor. What's your opinion on the Prometheus system?
Yeah, they did send me some dual color prints from the Prometheus system. It looks similar to what Joseph's done with his 4-color system, where the filaments with tracked out of a single nozzle. So it's a very clever way to stop nozzles dripping and oozing and not losing print space. But I don't know. I mean, it wasn't something that I wanted to back myself because I don't really do much dual color printing. And I think the issue with that system is you need materials of the same melting temperature, or roughly the same melting temperature. But yeah, it looked pretty cool. I don't know if it actually went through and succeeded on Kickstarter. I didn't follow it up. And oh yeah, Dion, with the Z-morph, it was a preset issue. Don't worry, there'll be more success on the Z-morph. It was definitely a preset. We'll take this moment to show you guys what the Z-morph extruder looks like. So just to show you quickly, I can move the camera around. That machine there is a Z-morph. It's a massive machine from Poland. And this is the dual extruder system that it comes with. This thing is a work of art. So the Z-morph has multiple print heads. So you can do a single extruder, dual extruder. It has a CNC cutting head, a laser diode, and a paste extruder, which you can interchange into the system. And this thing is just beautiful. It's made from water jet cut aluminium and assembled with sort of slots. It's got nice planetary motion stepper motors to keep the size down. It's cool. It is very cool. So you're going to see that one very soon. It's a very, very differently built machine, actually. Anyway, swing us around back to the old Mark II. Someone was asking about waterproof stuff.
Oh, yeah, that was answered, but Fluff Kitten asks, what does that energy drink taste like? Want to get a carton of them, but got to go to Sweden then.
Okay, so Maker's Muse energy drink reviews. We don't get many different types of energy drinks in Australia. We usually just get the crap like V, although that's mostly Australian, Mother, which is awful, and Red Bull. And Monster now, but this is the latest Monster. It's like a Ultra Sunrise. It's aimed at chicks, so of course I drink it. And it's a sugar-free, sort of orangey flavored one, which is nice, and it's not too sweet. It's decent.
Okay, want a 3D printing related question?
Yes.
Okay, so Robert asks, do you know anything about G-code blending?
No.
Okay.
G-code blending is an interesting topic. It's recently come up. There's been a research group that injected G-code into a part to make it structurally fail, like a virus almost. And I'm going to probably talk about that in a future video. But yeah, it is an interesting idea that you can just intercept certain areas of G-code and alter them. But in terms of blending things, I know you want like areas of different strengths and different fill ratios. I haven't seen any program that can successfully do that myself. Yeah, macro photography. It's a good point. I don't have a macro lens. I only have like fairly wide angle or long distance lenses. And the problem is controlling lighting in this room sucks because either the sun comes in and changes, like a cloud goes across, or I'm here at night. And my light boxes are slowly dying because the fluoros in them are crap. So because of all you other guys, all of you guys that support me on Patreon, I'm going to probably buy some LED boxes, which are going to be way better, and then the close-ups should be better. And also a macro lens would be nice as well, so you can get some really nice close-ups. But I do appreciate the criticism. I do agree they're not the best.
We're also looking to get into a new studio environment where we can actually better control
Yeah,
the lighting.
yeah.
So hopefully the quality will improve then.
Yeah, for those who just jumped in, basically the reason we've been so quiet on the channel with streams and things is we've been actively looking for a new studio. So we've finally found one, we've applied for it, hopefully we get it, we can put the deposit down. But the idea is that's a complete controlled environment with different rooms and a workshop. So I can set up the camera gear and have a dedicated environment for filming, for working on projects, and for editing. So I don't have to move stuff around, I don't have to worry about interruptions. So you're going to see a huge bump in quality if we get this place, which I really hope we do in future. Yeah. What else we got? Oh, yeah. I'm not even going to comment on that media sensationalist article about the 3D printer exploding. I mean, Joel covered that pretty well in his video. And yeah, even Hackaday got their wording very, very misleading, I guess. And unfortunately, it's just one of those things, sensationalized around a new technology to get hits. I don't believe in it at all. And luckily, we seem to have not seen any real backlash in the community against it yet. But who knows? Australia tried to ban 3D printing when the 3D printing gun thing happened. That almost happened. So hopefully that doesn't. How big is the team? The team is currently two. Two people, me and Lady Muse. We don't have the money to expand yet, but maybe we will. I mean, my idol, I guess, is the Linus Tech Tips channel, where he's managed to build it into a business with 15 or so employees. That's what I'd like to do, but currently it's not possible. But I am doing it, and I do enjoy it, so we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, Sparky, how's that temperature over there in WA? Are you enjoying the 39 degree highs? It's getting pretty hot over there in the western state. What I'm currently printing is called an ankle foot orthotic for a 2.5-year-old, I think. So this is the nylon version. So it's really tough, it's stringy because it's nylon, but the idea is that it's a 3D scan for a girl with cerebral palsy, and this supports their leg as they grow, so they don't get any deformation or deformities. Yeah, so I'm doing some good things. What else?
Wasn't it like 39 degrees in Perth yesterday?
Yeah, it was 39. Yeah, poor Sparky. I don't miss that temperature. I loved Perth, but I hated the summers. I can't do heat at all. Not if I can't get to like some sort of water source. Thoughts on the Folgertech FT5? Personally, I haven't looked too far into it, but I know Preston over at Press Reset's going to be reviewing one. He's got one right now. And they look nice. I mean, I was completely misinformed. I thought they were made in China. I thought they were similar lines of the cheap Chinese kits, but actually, from what I understand, they're made in America. And Folger directly oversees the whole production line, which is awesome, and probably explains why they've got such good, why the community likes them so much, why they get such good prints of them. Okay, you just ordered one. Let me know how you go. Also, just want to share something quickly. There we go. This is a file from My Mini Factory. It's the Mad Hatter. I've forgotten the name of the artist. I would have mentioned it if it succeeded. This is happening more and more in the community. Artists are uploading files with intersecting shells, and I do mention intersecting shells in my file fixing video sometimes. So what that means is Simplify 3D, by default, will try to separate them. And so this file, you can see all the sort of seams where each shell of the model, because it was model freeform, has been tried to artificially separated. And this is happening a lot. And to the point where I got contacted by Gamebody, and asked if I wanted to review one of their files, and they sent me through like a Fallout armor that I wanted to print, and same thing. It has like 130 intersecting shells. So that review's not going to be very positive. But yeah, you can do various things to fix it, but really it's just not good practice. You should have complete uniform manifold, like a single shell. You shouldn't have intersecting shells in your files when you upload them. Just thought I'd mention that. Yeah, I haven't used Cura for a while. Yeah, I haven't used the latest Cura at all. It's one of those things like at some point, but because I use Simplify 3D, I haven't bothered.
You'll get to it eventually.
Yeah. Oh, there's other cool slicers, like the Zmorph uses something called Voxelizer, which is a voxel-based slicer. So it gets a file and converts it into 3D pixels, which are known as voxels, and then it slices or gets it ready for milling, creates G-code from that. So there's lots of cool other slicers I need to try and experiment with, because you can use that on other machines, I think. I remember experimenting with it about 2 years ago, so we'll see. What's the news on the 404 villain? That is completely parked to the side because I've been too busy to think, unfortunately. Although, to be fair, the news on the 101 hero is they started shipping. What? I mean, it's like, I backed the 101 hero as a joke, and they're shipping sooner than Tico. So yeah, I do need to build a printer. It's one of those things I need to just have no distractions, but it's just been one thing after another for the last 3 months. So no DIY printer here yet, but there will be a Maker's Muse printer, I guarantee. It's just when I have time to sit down for a week to do it, because it takes a long time. Yeah, this is the Prusa i3 Mark II, currently printing those ankle foot orthotics in XL Fill Evo from Voltivo, which is a really nice strengthened, I think it's PLA, it doesn't say, strengthened filament, which I will review at some point. Yeah, again, the KUKA is a real KUKA. It is 100% expensive and 100% not moving currently because it's not owned by me, it's owned by the university. And there's a lot of things you need to do to get it right and get it working because we don't want to break a $60,000 robot. So we're printing with the AFOs. This is the first experiment. So this is like, can we scan to print in 48 hours? We almost made the deadline. The scanning and file fixing was tedious. But this is just one set. But the idea is every few months you print another set for that person. And then they are made to fit with the child as they grow. So yeah, it's been pretty cool. And we're going to continue working with Ability Mate as we when we move. Because there's a lot of new filaments coming out that they want to try out. Like the polypropylene mixers, they're new, which is really interesting. And they're all strengthened and got different properties which are good for making orthotics, which is really cool.
Okay, got some time for some questions.
Mm-hmm.
So have you talked about the 101 Hero 3D printer yet?
Yeah, I just mentioned that.
Okay, that's good. So, so the next one then.
I do want I got the red 101 Hero because it'll print faster.
So Nick X asked, because I think they're planning to make their own 3D printing pen. So they asked, do you know of any filament that has a really high melting point?
Yeah. So just going back to that question, if you're making a 3D printing pen, I'd probably ask why, because there's tons on the market that are already cheap. You're going to spend a lot of money making your own. But yeah, you can buy PEEK filament, PEEK, and it melts at like 300 something degrees Celsius. If you want to try that, I don't see why you'd want to though. But yeah, 3D printing pens for me they don't make sense. I'm not an artist. How much Fallout am I playing? I haven't played any Fallout for 6 months. No, I don't have time for games, really. I play a little bit of Chivalry, maybe 10 minutes every few weeks. But yeah, it's absolutely balls to the walls work at the moment.
Austin asks, can you tell the guys at Simplify 3D to slice surface STLs that don't have complicated surface in their Z layers?
Yes, there is a setting in Simplify 3D, I know what you mean, to combine outlines into to combine shells into a single outline. There is a setting. The issue is if there's an internal void, it will fill that. So, like for example, with the Fallout one from Gambody, I was trying to do that, and as it forms up, there's a dip in the armor, and that just fills up to that point because it's combining all the outlines. So you can do it, but again, it's bad practice for the file to have intersecting shells in the first place. Yes, and you can do it in Cura as well. There's like fix horrible settings. Most slicers will let you do it, but again, it's just not good practice to not have a file that's fully manifold. Sorry, and not intersecting.
Another question?
Mm.
Okay, so Laser Lord asks, do you know of any decent all-metal extruders, like for nylon and stuff like that?
Yeah, I will be honest, all metal extruders have issues. So the ups have an all metal extruder and they print nylon very well, but then they jam up on some other filaments. You'll find with all metal hot ends that the plastics stick to the wall of the hot end a lot more than a PTFE lined. So ideally you'd probably want like a PEEK lined, like the new one from the Cetus. I don't know if anyone makes them yet. But you can get the all-metal E3D genuine ones. They're really good from what I've heard. But again, you're going to limit your material capability because some filaments will stick to the metal. That's why I use PTFE lining. It's slippery and you get a better range. But again, the temperature resistance isn't as high. So unless you're printing like at 260 degrees plus all the time, I wouldn't bother with all metal, maybe. Even printing with abrasive materials, PTFE is easy to replace, and you're going to print at a fairly low temperature. Yeah, so that's a bit of a rambling answer. I'd probably say that the genuine E3D, but again, I mostly use, for an all-metal hot end, I use the ups, and that's obviously proprietary, unfortunately. No, I don't comb my hair this way, it's just how it is. I can't actually flatten it. It will not go flat. That's what happens when you go to bed after having a shower. Oh, just before I go on, yeah, the 3D printer Dion's saying, yeah, he knows Mel as well. Everyone knows Melissa. It's really funny. So, like, everyone knows Melissa from Ability Mate. It's really, I don't know. But she's in the Gong as well. So, you know, when we move down there, it's going to be good because we can keep working together. Anyway, yes, continue.
Okay, so first question's from Herman. So he says hello and he's from London. I got tired of the seams that I got from Slicer and changed to Cura 2.3.0 and got much better results. What is Simplify 3D like?
So, I mean, if you're trying to hide your seams, there's various ways you can do it. I did do a Slicer throwdown at the start of this year, a long time ago. I do need to do a new one where I compared Slicer, Simplify 3D, Craftware, and Cura. I do need to redo that with the latest versions of those software. But the thing I like about Simplify 3D is you can tell it to choose a seam in a certain area. So if there's an area in the file that's hidden, you can tell it to seam there. And then, of course, it's very hard to see. But getting a good seam means you really need decent flow settings. So that's your extrusion multiplier. So when it gets to the end of that perimeter, it's not going to make a blob. And that's what makes seams very obvious. You can't hide them completely, but if you can tell your part to do them in an area which is not obvious, like maybe a corner, something like that, then that might be a good way to go. And you can obviously G-code preview in most of these programs now to see where that seam will be before you commit it to the printer. Now NetFab's gone, what's my favorite method of file fixing? I'm still floundering on that. I've been using the new version, which exports to the Microsoft, what's the format? It's not U3D, 3MF. So it exports to 3MF, which then you can convert if you need an STL. I've been using that, still cloud-based, but I do have Windows 10 on my latest computer, so I'm going to start trying to use their little thing, I guess, the little 3D builder to see how that goes. And Make Printable didn't work great for me when I tried it a while ago, but if it's improved, I will give it another shot. But quite frankly, right now, there's nothing ideal to fix files for free, which sucks. There's an opening in the market for someone to make a package for $10 that you can buy, like $10 a year, that will just do basic file fixing, press button, go print. I don't know why that doesn't exist, because I would buy it. I'd buy it for $50. But I'm not going to buy iMaterialize Magics for $9,000 a year. Yep.
Okay, so two ones. First one is from Matti, Strawberry Maker.
Strawberry Maker.
Yeah, I like to. Is there a way to change Simplify 3D to show the print speed in millimeters per second and not millimeters per minute?
Oh yeah, there's a setting. So you can go into the preferences and you can change how it displays the speed settings. So yeah, you can change it from millimeters per second. Sorry, you can change it from millimeters per minute to millimeters per second. Or yeah, divide by 60. But yeah, you can change that in the settings. I will have a quick look for you while we're chatting. Yeah. And yeah, in terms of a review for the Prusa, I don't rush my reviews out. I test things to the limit. But I will say now, my review is going to be a bit different to everyone else's because I've been finding a few things that I'm not too happy with. I mean, it's an amazing kit, but a lot of things that I've found haven't been mentioned before. So again, that's why I'm testing it a lot. And yeah, you'll be able to see that review. But let me just find in settings, tools, options. Yeah, so let me just change it for you. Desktop. Go away. There you go. So under the under tools and settings, tools and options rather, you can change your speed from millimeters per minute to millimeters per second, if you like. Like that.
Okay, I just have one question here. I'll ask it and I'll let you ramble on again.
I love rambling.
You love it. So JJB asks, Angus, if you have to select 300 to 500 3D printers for technical schools, like secondary schools particularly, what machine would you choose?
I'm assuming they're meaning $500, not 500 actual printers.
It actually might be 500 printers because it's plural there, and it needs to come as a kit.
What? Okay. Well, I'm going to answer that in two ways. I'm going to answer that as if you mean a $500 printer. Then I'll answer it in the other way, 500 printers. Look, for schools, if the teacher's running it, you have a bit more leeway. If the kids are running it, honestly, you've got very little options because slicing programs are not easy to use. Honestly, I look at the CETUS now that that's actually completed and kickstarted funding. That's a cheap machine. I've been really happy with it. It does PLA only. Their interface can be run from a phone. It's simple and it's decent.
That's 500 printers, like a government project.
Oh, really? Okay, well then the manufacturer will love me if you go with my recommendation because that's a lot of printers. It needs to come as a kit though, okay. Well, a lot of kits are, at the low end are dangerous. Like if you buy them from China, like I discovered with the TiVo Tarantula, you need to wire mains voltages, which is absolutely a no-no for anyone, let alone kids. So no. The Trinus comes as a kit, but it's a very much modular. Like if you want to go back through some of my older videos, I assembled a Trinus in a very old stream, and it comes with the rails, and you put it together, but it only takes about half an hour. It's quite simple, and it's not much. You don't need to do too much. The best kit would be the Prusa i3 Mark II, but that's getting up at the limit of your price point. But if you approach Joseph Prusa and say you want 300 to 500 of them, they'll probably do you a good deal. So that might be the way to go, because you can assemble one of these in a couple of hours.
Yeah, Deadly said there would be a professional that would help the students build it.
Okay. Yeah, I would honestly say the Prusa i3 has the best instructions for what it is, and the best support. So if you went straight to him and said you wanted that many, they'd probably put together a special package for you. And that's this machine, by the way, the one that's printing. So it's got 3D printed parts, so the kids can print upgrades, which is cool. And it comes in a little box, pretty heavy but smallish. Yeah, I'd say that. Let me know how you go. Send me an email. I'd be keen to see what you go with.
Yeah.
Cool. What else?
I've got questions if you want me to just shoot out the questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, the 3D printer guy also weighed into that conversation saying kits are not actually that safe given that you need to connect the PCU.
Yeah. So the thing about the Prusa that is different to most cheap kits is the PC, the power supply unit is completely enclosed already. That comes with no mains exposed, which is what you need, and you just plug the cable into it, basically the mains cable. So there's no danger of electrocution there, which is really good. Most kits come with just a bare power supply that you need to wire up. That's really bad, and I could never recommend that for a school environment or anyone. Just to go to Jen, are you using Prusa's supplied profiles for the Mark II? No, I'm not. I had a lot of issues with the supplied profiles for Slicer and Simplify 3D, probably because I'm trying to print stuff like this, which is really difficult. So I ended up getting a file sent to me by Spanner Hands, who runs a lot of i3 Mark IIs as a print hub, and when I do my review, I will link his profile in that review, and that's been very good. The main thing was the fan control. If the fan's on at 100% on the i3, I was getting thermal runaway when it's right close to the first layer because it was blowing back into the hot end and the hot end was cooling down too fast. So his profile has the fan ramping up incrementally, so it gets to about 60 or maybe 80% speed once it's higher from the bed, and that works really well. So I will link his profile. That's Simplify 3D. I haven't tried any Cura profiles, and I only tried the Slicer one once. Welcome, Boris. I'm glad you can join me from Austria. It's only a few letters away from Australia.
Okay, so I've got some questions.
Yep.
So let's have a go. So Marco asks, for the 101 Hero, you aren't constrained to the files on the website, are you? Would you know at this stage?
I don't know. Yeah. So the 101 Hero, there was a lot of controversy, I guess, as to what you can print on it. I opted for you could pay a little bit more money to get the USB option. I don't know. I highly doubt they're going to constrain you to printing what is on their website, because that's going to be stupid. There's going to be a way to feed G-code into it for sure. Like, otherwise it's useless. So I'm not sure. I can't be 100% till I get the machine, but I honestly hope not, because that's going to be crap. Yeah, I hope that's not the case. Do I have a 3D hub? Yes, I do, and no one's ever ordered anything because I've never publicized it. I don't print on demand anymore because there's too much stuffing about, too much disconnection between people's expectations and what the machines are capable of, and I just don't have the time. So, yeah, I do, but no one's ordered from it, and I hope they don't. Do I normally print at this speed for projects? If you mean the Mark II that's currently printing, yeah, I normally print at about this speed. This is probably a little bit tamer than usual. I usually print about 60 millimeters per second. And also Simplify 3 will slow down automatically when layers are smaller. But yeah, I usually try to print fast. I don't see the point of printing very, very slowly. Yeah.
Okay, so Kurt asks, do you know about the CrateBot 3D printer? Tell me your opinions.
Okay, I can't actually answer that question because there's two companies making CreateBots. So there's CreateBot with an E, and there's CreateBot without an E. And they're two different companies. The CreateBot with an E are not very good in my opinion. They're like an Ultimaker clone with a Bowden-style 3mm filament extruder, and they come up to massive sizes with 3 extruders. I used to own a Mancati, we'll work with a Mancati that was made in the same factory, and that wasn't very good. But CreateBot without an E, or maybe it's the other way around, I honestly don't know. One of them has a direct drive 1.75 extruder, and that's a good machine. The other one has a Bowden-style 3mm extruder, and I would not recommend it. So, yeah, that's how much I know about them.
Asked earlier, I have a printer bot plus that just isn't printing. The filament gets all gummed up and it scratches up the bed. What should I do?
Okay, I'll reread that one. So Printerbot Plus with filament that's getting gummed up, scratching the bed and not printing. Well, I don't know how filament's scratching your bed. That doesn't sound right. It sounds like your nozzle's scratching the bed, which is very not good. Yeah, not printing as in not extruding or not sticking. There could be so many things wrong with that machine. You might not be extruding at the right temperature, your tension might be incorrect on your extruder, your nozzle might be blocked, your feeder gear might be clogged up with bits of plastic, your nozzle might be too close to the bed, your bed might not have the right kind of adhesion material, so it might not be sticking to that. That's a good start. Yeah, it's almost impossible to diagnose that right now, unfortunately. See if your filament can extrude by itself away from the bed. If it does extrude, then you're fine on the extruder end. Maybe grab it as it's extruding to see if there's any resistance. If you can stop it really easily, then there's a problem with the tension. And then if it's not sticking to the bed, then you need to change your bed adhesion system. There we go.
Okay. So Ollie asks, well, they say, I semi recently got my hands on a Form 2, and I wanted to print a test part to send to you. I tried to print your torture test, but it won't work. Is there any model I could print for you?
The Form 2... yeah, well, Joel managed to get the cube printing, the little torture cube. He managed to get that to work, but I don't think it was very easy. Shoot me an email, and you can find it on the channel page, about, and I'll rustle something up for you. to print. I'll try to make it not too torturous, because I'd love to see what the Form 2 can do, because I'm unlikely to get one myself, so I'd like to see the results out of that. I'll rustle something up for you, some sort of lattice thing, but not too bad. We'll try that. Did I see Tom's live feed attempting to diagnose issues on the fly? I did not see Tom's live feed attempting to diagnose issues on the fly, but I did see the aftermath where he said that was a nightmare. So I'm not going to try to do that. I saw his Twitter post about it. Okay, Nico's saying it's not the filament, it's the nozzle. Sounds like your nozzle's too close to the bed then. If it's scratching the bed, that's the only thing I can discern from that. Alright, Zach's off. Catch you later. So what else is going on?
One more and I'll let you go. So Shiverwolf asks, if I decrease the extrusion multiplier...
I'll answer that one.
Yeah.
If I decrease the extrusion multiplier, normal filled areas are under extruded. If I increase the multiplier, it seems to jam more. Any suggestions on other settings I could try and tamper with? Okay. I would say for Shivel that if you're getting under extrusion but more multiplier seems to jam, it sounds like a temperature management thing, like the extruder can't stay at temperature, so you might be printing a bit too fast for it, or you might be printing a bit too cool. That could be why. Oh, it was the previous thing as well, having issues with printing on hollow parts with low infill space. Yeah, okay. I do remember having that issue with my Mark III, and I seem to remember it was a temperature management thing. So what was happening is, if I printed a cube, the outside would print good, and then did the inside layers, and they'd be all wispy. I think the infill would be very crap, and not much, not joining to itself. And I seem to figure out that was because it was moving faster for the infill, and the temperature was dropping, and then the print head was skipping because it couldn't keep up with temperature. That's what happened to me. So I tried printing slower, because yeah, if you're extruding more plastic, it's not going to solve that issue. So it sounds like a temperature management issue to me. Maybe tweak your PID settings if you can on your machine. But that sounds like that's the issue. Tell you more about the pyramid lattice. Okay, yeah, definitely. Where is that? So in my last video, I showed you guys this, and I showed you that it looks like that. So I've been experimenting with Vase mode recently, and I'm putting a video together about how to hack Vase mode printing, because the reasons Vase mode is good is it's fast, it looks impressive, and it's quite easy to do, doesn't waste a lot of plastic. So it's really good for trade shows where people are demonstrating printers and they want to show printers printing stuff that is quick, because as we know, most prints take hours, whereas this took 30 minutes. And the reason it looks like this is it's a Vase mode, but the design was what's called a voxelized cone. So I got a cone and I converted it into lots of cubes. And as the Vase mode goes up layer by layer, because Vase mode doesn't jump up in increments, it actually slowly increases up. It would skip over where those cubes started and go back to the start of the next cube. I'm explaining this very badly, but the reason the result of that is it leaves these gaps. So it jumps and then jumps and jumps and jumps. And the interesting side effect of that is it's way stronger than a normal cone would be, because it's got triangulation now between those things, and it looks really, really weird as well. So now that I know this is possible, you can create intentional voids using Vase mode. I'm looking at making a practical application, which might be some sort of pencil holder or something like that, by doing this. And the cool thing is it's fast, it doesn't waste much material, and it's actually quite strong for the amount of material in it. So that was that experiment, and there'll be a video on it at some point. So that's what I've been doing with that. What was that one? So I was trying to catch up on the chat. What's the best way to edit STLs? Fusion 360 isn't working out for me. Definitely Mesh Mixer. I use that all the time. But you're going to find with STLs and then parametric modeling, they hate each other. They're like two separate worlds, and they do not connect well. So you can't easily convert an STL to a step file and then parametrically model on it. And likewise, converting it a step or something from Fusion 360 to a STL is kind of a one-way ticket because it turns all surfaces into triangles. So if you want to edit stuff by, hollowing, cutting, that sort of thing, Mesh Mix is the way to go. If you want to do anything more complicated, you're kind of stuck. You can convert, if you have a low enough triangle count, into something that Fusion 360 will understand, which is called B-reps. I understand surfaces, but I haven't done any further research in that. It's definitely a difficult thing to do. All right, a couple of questions. So Juicy Moose, bad news, Angus. I was going to print the lattice cube, but WAN house support sucks. My printer's been broken for the past 4 months. Poor Juicy Moose. That sucks. WAN house support does suck. They sent me a machine that was broken. Like I said in my WAN house Duplicator 6 review, it arrived trashed. Unfortunately, and I think it's a side effect of them growing too fast. I think they got really popular, they expanded and didn't do enough quality control. So I would jump onto a Facebook group and see if anyone can help solve your problem. Because you're going to probably get better support than WANHOW directly.
We got a hobby question.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nick X asks, what would be the best material for printing a remote-controlled boat?
Remote-controlled boat. Best material will be one you can seal because I think prints aren't always watertight off the machine, so you want something you can seal. If you can print in ABS, you can acetone vapor that, and that will make it watertight. Or you just print in PLA and give it a coat of epoxy. That will also make it watertight. If you print in a one of the strengthened, like the modified PLAs that are stronger than usual, so if you crash into something, it's not going to like Titanic down into the depths. So you want a PLA that's got strength modifiers in it. Otherwise, PET, to be honest, you might have trouble sealing it because things don't stick to PET very well, but that's going to be a really resilient material as well. Yeah, it's about sealing it. That's going to be your biggest challenge. Yeah, have I printed nylon? Absolutely I have. So that's what this is. So nylon tends to go fluffy like this. It doesn't like, retraction just does nothing on it basically. But yeah, this is nylon. It is the toughest of the tough. It is also an absolute nightmare to print. This is nylon 6. It warps, it needs high temperatures, it's moisture damaged easily. Lots of fun. And no, Juicy, I would not recommend getting the TiVo Tarantula. Please do not get that kit. Just don't get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've got some questions lined up when you have a spare moment.
Yeah,
Okay,
time for a couple more.
Project
Print's working.
Okay. Project Tube, this was a while ago, so apologies guys. So Project Tube asks, are you still using Fusion 360? And if so, how do you like it? And then Matt's Strawberry Maker asked afterwards, what's the best way to edit STLs? Because Fusion 360 isn't really...
I already answered that one.
So you've answered that one.
I answered that one. Fusion, I'll be completely honest, I hate the interface for it. I find it so foreign to me. I don't like the orbital menus. I don't like how you hover over something for a while for something else to pop up. So I often click and then like the things disappear and like, why did it disappear? I'm trying to select it. So I don't like that. I'm used to stuff like SolidWorks where it's a lot more, I guess, structured. Fusion seems a bit more freeform to me, but I'm forcing myself to learn it because this news sucks. Onshape has stopped their free service for up to 10 private documents. They're canning that. So Onshape, yeah. So Onshape has moved to a model where if you have a free account, it's only public documents, you can't have any private. And if you want, then you do like a 30-day trial of their premium. And I think that's a terrible move by them, to be honest, because they had Fusion knocking at their door. Now that's like nail in the coffin. All hobbyists are going to go to Fusion now instead of going with Onshape, which sort of sucks because I preferred Onshape's approach to modeling. It was more familiar to me. But yeah, I'm going to persevere with Fusion 360 because it's still free and everyone's using it. There we go. That was a long-winded answer. All these names, man.
Oh, that's a difficult one.
God.
So on that note, I've got two questions. One's from Monument Men.
Oh, yeah?
The other one's from Slurm King. So Monument Men asks, hey Angus, do you ever use a Raspberry Pi and Octoprint? Just seen them for the Whitehall Duplicator i3 Plus and am very tempted, so I can print a monitor while at work.
Yeah. A remote printing is a cool idea. I do have a few products I need to try, but you need a home style network, whereas here at the university it's a sort of secure network and none of the cloud systems work for it. Also, thank you so much for the support, guys. I really do appreciate it. I saw your post, and I definitely will be printing some of your work. But yeah, to be honest, the best solution I've tried is just a cheap Windows PC and then Google Chrome Remote Desktop. That seems to work great because you have access to an entire desktop, so you can use any printer, because any printer's slicer you can just use through the remote desktop. So that's what I've done before, but I haven't used a OctoPi yet. Soon though, I've got one. I just need to try it. And also, Shivel's asking about sanding down prints with power tools. Absolutely not. If you sand down plastic with power tools, you're going to overheat them and they're going to start melting. So you absolutely have to do it by hand, unfortunately. You can do small areas if you're careful, but plastic will just melt from the friction and you're going to end up ruining the print. I used to sand prints under like a slow running tap with wet and dry sandpaper, so that keeps it cool, and that gave me the best finish. So it's definitely manual. Definitely very much a manual process.
He also asks, fancy an Egyptian statue?
Yes, I do. I will get back to you on that. I'm going to find one I want, and I will print it.
Okay. So the next one was Slurm King. What is your opinion on filtration for harmful fumes? UFPS.
Look, the argument of harmful fumes from 3D printing is still ongoing. I don't have any systems in this room. It's an air-conditioned room, so there is air circulation. But look, the Mark II's printing in PLA externally. The up box has an enclosure and a HEPA filter, but arguably that doesn't do much. You still do smell it. I don't recommend doing this. I don't recommend printing in the room you work. I recommend having an external print room, I guess, and not working directly next to it. I don't have an option here because it's the only room I've got. But yeah, the argument as to what these fumes do, still up for debate. I mean, we get exposed to harmful fumes every day. People smoking, car fumes, driving behind trucks that have asbestos brakes. It's all ongoing, and we're exposed to it every day. So whether or not the fumes from 3D printers actually add much to that, I don't know. I'm not at all definitive on that. But I would just say, try to print in a different room. Don't print next to your desk. Don't do what I do. Don't do what Donnie Don't does.
That's quite a tongue twister. Okay, did you?
Yeah. Let's have a look.
Okay, well, first of all, Juicy Moose wanted me to tell you that he's modelling his bird Georgie.
Yeah. Juicy, send me a model of your bird. I'll have a look at it.
Okay, and the next three ones is first from Bubble Whip. Angus, how useful is a lathe since you owned one, or probably more accurately, when you owned one?
Yeah, okay. So I did own a lathe for quite a while, probably 4 years or so. It was a Sieg C6, so it's a Chinese-made machine. Definitely not that great. The thing about any of these tools is they are amazingly useful for sometimes small projects. So for me, it used to sit there for maybe a month or two unused. And then for one project, I needed a wheel hub, I needed a pulley, I needed something out of metal, and it was like, I could not have done it without a lathe. So it's one of those things, like, that machine cost me around, once you add the tooling, because double the cost of the machine to add tooling, they don't come with anything. You need a forge or chuck, stuff like that. So it cost me about $3,000 Australian to get that lathe and all the tools I needed to use it. And to be honest, although I didn't use it very much, once I get a place I'm comfortable and permanent in, I'm going to get another lathe. Just because when you do need to make a metal pulley for something, or you need to make a special item, you could make your own nozzles if you wanted, for example. You need to be careful, but you could. And that's cool. And if you're a machinist and you enjoy that, then absolutely they're worth having. But keep in mind, they take up a lot of space and they will sit unattended for quite a while, unless you're like a mad machinist every day. And just going back to that, maker spaces and lathes don't mix. Too often I've seen people leave the chuck key in and turn the lathe on and almost kill themselves, and also plunge the tool in and break the tools. So yeah, it's one of those things, like, it's one of those tools that should be shared, but you need to share it with people who aren't idiots. Same with a mill, same with a table saw, same with any of those tools. They're useful for very small items, and you couldn't live without them, but for the most part they sit unattended. at least in my experience, that's what they did. And a welder. Having a welder is awesome, but you don't use it every day.
Okay. So XYZ Aiden asks thoughts on flexible filament, and I think a couple of people have actually been asking that.
Okay. Look, flex is fun, and that's about it for me. You're gonna look. The limitations of printing in flex is that support material is very difficult to remove off it. And it strings a lot, so I use the Wanhao i3 with the flexing on Extruder. Works beautifully for flex, but I just haven't had a need to print flexible things unless it's like, oh look, it's a flexible octopus. The only thing I can think of that's practical would be like a tire or something like that. I mean, do you have any? No.
No, not really.
Because the finish of flex is usually too rough to be anything aesthetically pleasing, I suppose. You can't print a phone case in flex very well. You can, but it doesn't look that great. So for me, flex is still a bit of a gimmick, but yeah, if you had a dual extruder, you might be able to do like flex areas, like a flex coupling. That might make it more useful in my opinion. And the material printing on the i3 currently is Voltivo XL Fill Evo. So it is, that's facing the wrong way. Yeah. So it's a modified, I believe it's PLA, or they don't exactly say it's PLA. It's a modified filament that prints really nicely at PLA temperatures, and it's really tough as well. And I am printing a ankle foot orthotic for a 2.5-year-old with cerebral palsy. So it's like a scanned support for a leg. It's part of a project called Ability Mate.
Pretty awesome.
Very cool.
Benji asked earlier, what's the best software for adding texture?
Oh, just to go back to the lathe slots, like that's why there's spring-loaded chucks. Yeah, the first thing anyone does in a makerspace is they take the spring out. Don't ask me why. They're idiots. They're lazy. But the spring disappears instantly, and then yeah. So also they take the guard off because they're idiots. That's just what happens. I don't know. I wouldn't do it, but it's just yeah. And also quad extrusion for my Prusa, not that I know of, because that's still getting rolled out, and Joseph definitely has his hands full in rolling out normal Prusas, let alone getting anything more to me because I've been so long with the review. Flex is more than fun. Living hinges. Yeah, no, a living hinge would be great if it's a dual extrusion, but if it's just a single extrusion, you don't have a living hinge, you have a flexible everything. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, I definitely think it has a place, but I think it has to be in dual extrusion systems. Yeah.
Okay, so Slime King asks, is Trinus a good beginner printer?
Yeah, the Trinus is an interesting system. It's small, it's extremely heavy and overbuilt for what it is. I'm just looking at it over there. I need to disassemble it because I'm going to take it to Perth with me because it's the only machine that I can disassemble back into a box easily. It's a decent machine, definitely. It's quiet, it's accurate, but it's small, I guess, is the thing. It depends what you're after. The Trinus system has very good accuracy for its size and its price, but you're going to be limited by that print volume. It's like that much. It's tiny. So if you're looking at something like that, and then you look at something like an i3, you get a lot more print volume in an i3, but then it's less portable. Again, it comes down to what you're after and your needs. I did write an ebook about it if you're interested.
Okay. Alex asks, would you ever want to come to New Zealand? Because it is awesome, but it is really hard to get a printer for a good price.
Oh, New Zealand?
Yeah.
Would I ever come to New Zealand? Yeah, I will. I want to visit New Zealand at some point. But yeah, you're right. You've got a small market there. Interesting fun fact, 3D printing systems who sell the up machines in Australia are based in New Zealand. So that's why you can get those machines easily there. But other companies, I don't think you'd have to bring it across the sea, which means you'd have to pay for air freight, which means you're going to be looking at a bit more money, unfortunately, to get it there. But I do know some people managed to get i3s there, so they got some Wanhao kits sent, Wanhao printers. Yeah, I don't know. I do want to visit there at some point.
He does ask, can you show us that extruder again?
Oh yeah, sure. There we go. This is the beautiful Z-Morph Dual Pro extruder. So it's a dual system with 2 stepper motors with planetary gearboxes, and by doing that, it's very compact. Although it is really heavy, and it goes down to a single nozzle. So the Z-Morph has Z-Morph has very, very cool capabilities for dual color extrusion, which I will be testing out. It's very unique, actually. Where can I get the ebook? If you go on our website, there's a link to the ebook, and it compares different aspects of printers. So it doesn't compare direct brands. You're not going to see comparisons of like a Mark II versus an Upbox or anything like that. You'll see comparisons between like heat beds and like printer size and filament types. So it helps you make an informed decision as to what you're after. Then you can decide what printer you want, because there's so many on the market. There's no point making a book about specific brands, because it would be out of date instantly, and also I wouldn't cover everything. So it's more to make you informed to make a good decision. That's what the book's about. Yes?
So Channel Video Test asks, are you planning to produce some more exotic videos about industrial printers or the polyjet technology? I know you haven't had a chance, but I know it's definitely something.
Yeah. So with Maker's Muse, I intentionally didn't call it 3D printing Angus or something, because I don't want to be stuck in just 3D printing. So the plan of the channel is to slowly ramp up into other technologies, including industrial machines. So that's why I really enjoyed going to Shenzhen and Hangzhou, China, because I could visit these companies with SLS technology and metal selected laser melting systems, which was really cool and stuff I wouldn't normally see. But yeah, I do have some connections with companies that do have polyjet technology and things like that, which I do want to interview them about. Like, you know, these machines that are massive, take up half a room, and you're not going to see normally. I want to get behind the scenes and see them. But also not just that, like other manufacturing technologies like foundries. I want to catch up with a foundry. Someone was talking about lost PLA casting before. There's a huge foundry in Wollongong that do that, and I want to go chat with them, document it, that sort of thing. So again, it's just, I'm only one person and I only have one lady Muse to help. I did used to have another helper, another minion, but she now has a full-time job. So it's all about just ramping up at a sustainable rate so we can cover all that sort of thing. But yeah, definitely, it's something that I'm not going to just stay with desktop printers. I'm going to ramp it up into much bigger things. And if we get the robot arm going, I'll make a video of it. Definitely. Yeah.
So Chris M asks, Angus, your thoughts on Cartesian printers versus Core XY?
Yeah. Look, we've got so many different motion types now. We've got Cartesian, Core XY, we've got deltas, we've got polar. Look, each one has advantages and disadvantages. Let's be completely realistic here. I do like the fact that Core XY, or even the weird Ultimaker alternative to that, which I don't know what they call it, the bed doesn't move. It just drops down on the Z-axis. I do like that because I find the prints are more accurate, because the print's not moving back and forth. You're not getting the print having, the mass shaking it. But then you do lose accuracy because you're piling mechanisms on top of each other. So I like Core XY personally. I think it's a really cool system. It's really fast. But then again, like some machines like the Wanhao and all that with Cartesian, they seem to work fine. And then again, going back, you didn't even ask about Delta, but Delta's another situation where you've got all the motors working together and the bed doesn't even move at all. I mean, that's an even better solution technically, because then the print there's not even a mass issue with the print being there. It's not cantilevered or anything. But then you've got the control issues as well. So I don't know, I would love to see someone with a machine, I'd love to see someone with a Core XY, Delta, and Cartesian to do a definitive shootout between them to see what prints better. And the only person I know with all those machines would be Joel at 3D Printing Nerd. So I might tell him to do that, when he has 5 seconds spare to see what differences are there. 2 lady muses, are you Mormon? No, there's only 1 lady muse, and then there's one minion.
Ooh, which is which?
Which is which? Oh, no way, Donald Trump. No, I taught you to make a killer robot from a cordless drill. Yes, I've been doing YouTube for a long time. I originally started channels because I wanted to do tutorials, and I did a whole combat robot series at the Robo Wars Australia channel, which is still up if you want to do that. It's a little bit out of date now. But yeah, I started with combat robots, then moved into this. So I'm glad I helped. I should do more combat robots. I should do lots of things.
You should, but you don't.
I don't have time. Oh dear. Couple more questions and I'm going to have to stop, guys. I have to continue on with the day's happenings.
Yeah, I don't have anything saved on my little page now because I said I want to keep asking Angus about which is the best printer for this price, like which is beginner printer for between $400 and $500 because Angus gets asked that quite a lot.
Yeah, I can't answer like what printer should I get or what filament should I get because it's very much subjective. But yeah, I mean, there's just to update some of you guys who come in late, there's tons of stuff that's been going on here and why I haven't been streaming for a long time because basically the studio has run its dash. The construction is not stopping. They're going to build a building next to us once this is done. So it's been wonderful being here, but yeah, we're looking to get a new studio, which is why I've been so busy because we've been driving around everywhere for ages. My poor little car cannot handle hills. It's been fun. And I've got loads of content to get out, but yeah, it's really cool because of your guys' support that we can actually push it to the next level. Because without that, I'd still be in a basement somewhere working another job and being very miserable. But because I get to do what I like, it's actually quite fun. So that's what we've been doing. And what was that?
Austin asks, Angus, what do you think of Varaslice? It changes layer height based on surface load.
I saw that. I did see, yeah, Varaslice looks really cool as an algorithm to change layer height depending on what the contours are. From what I understand, it's just an algorithm that's very experimental and not incorporated into any slices yet. From what I understand, from reading the article. I could be wrong, but I'm going to keep my eye on it. There's a lot of interesting slicing things coming out. But as I said, going back to the ZMorph, ZMorph has a function within their software that lets you get a bitmap and convert it into multi-color printing using this print head, which is insane, and you'll be seeing that as well. Right, so guys, I think I have to kill it because I'm exhausted and I have to go give these guys their nylon AFO.
No, one more question.
All right, one more question.
Alex asks, have you ever made an ant-weight robot?
Yes, I've made many ant-weight robots. Ant-weight robots are tons of fun. They're super small. You can 3D print the entire frames. Like imagine a 3D printed combat robot with nylon. It's just indestructible. Ant-weights are fun. I might do one because they're easier than making featherweights. Because they're only 150 grams. They're like fit in the palm of your hand. But again, time and that sort of thing. So unfortunately, guys, I will have to go. But thank you so much for joining me. And also a huge shout out to everyone on Patreon for supporting me. Because I know I've been super busy and I've been trying to keep you guys in the loop. But yeah, because of your support, I can move to this next step. And I can't do it without your support. And I just wanted to say thank you because it's amazing that you would actually consider supporting me, providing you with just playing with 3D printers basically and trying to help out, which is fun and better than a normal boring job. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to leave it there and have a fantastic didn't break because it's nylon. Have a fantastic Sunday or Saturday night, whatever time it is there. And I look forward to seeing you again very shortly here on Maker's Muse. Catch you later, guys. Do you say bye-bye?
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.